I created sort of these 5 habits that I talk about are like behaviors or skills that you can develop and acquire. And actually the first one is to realize that there will be resistance to your ideas and sort of acknowledging that. And it sounds simple, but very oftentimes I meet people where they're so frustrated and they almost take it personally, that resistance to their ideas or to their ways of working. And that's a direct route to burnout, right? And at least to conflict. Instead, you to say, of course, there'll be resistance. It's natural human nature, right? People don't understand what they haven't seen before, or they might be unsure about how is this going to impact me and what I do. If we are pivoting in this way, if we're changing our approach, then all the stuff that I build or I'm good at, would that still be useful? Yeah. So all these uncertainties create that resistance from humans, and it can also come from the systems of the company as well. But by saying, okay, there will be resistance, you can already from the get-go start thinking about, how do I disarm that resistance? How do I reach out in time to my co-founder or my stakeholders and start explaining how this fits the bigger system, what their role is still going to be if this idea or new thing will happen. So that's the first step. The second step is to then realize, what are the rules that I'm going to have to be breaking doing this? And because as an innovator, and especially if it's more radical innovation, which typically it is also in a small company, you are going to break rules. And I don't talk about laws, obviously. I talk about sort of maybe the unspoken rules or the mindset of the way that we should do things. And you're introducing something that differs from that. And it feels like you're breaking the rules of the game, right? So understand, before you do it, understand what are the rules, why were they there, who are emotionally invested in them, whose toes am I stepping on as I'm creating this change? Because that will make you start having empathy towards those and say, okay, of course they're going to be frustrated. Of course they're going to say no. Of course they're going to X, Y, and Z. And then you can start disarming it by meeting with people. And that's my third step. That is saying you need to create sort of followship behind your ideas. You almost need to be like an influencer, saying, how can I influence my peers, my colleagues, my stakeholders, my co-founder in understanding that this is the right way to do and be a fan of it, right? And that's all about transparency. It's really about letting people in early. The more you hide your ideas and your thoughts to yourself, because you're thinking, I better sort of go under the radar and not sort of involve anyone. And then at the end, I'm going to ta-da, see this and hope people love it. And guess what? They probably won't. Yeah. Because it's like, where did that come from? And why are we going to do this? And you haven't brought them along on the journey. So make sure you bring people along on the journey from the get-go of why are we doing this, so that they feel they are part of it. It's not change happening to them. It's change they are part of co-piloting. Yeah. And that's a major difference. Yeah. And of course, there might be some stakeholders or co-founders or spouses where the resistance is just really strong, right? Where it's really challenging. How do we do this? And that's my sort of fourth point, which I call writing love letters. And I sort of mean that quite literally. It is about reaching out early with respect to that other position, that other part, where there's resistance coming from, and saying, I really want to understand that resistance. I mean, I want to understand your perspective, your position, and why this triggers these things, and sort of really invest the time in doing it. And then my fifth sort of habit or rule that I follow is to make other people shine. And that's actually a great way for a person, even though you're not maybe super good at being this charismatic person, this influencer type that is very extrovert, you can still reward people or show recognition. And so this is something we also learned, that, when you're innovating and you're changing things, you're often requiring other people to do something they haven't done before. They may even have to throw in some extra time, work on a Saturday and so on to support you on top of an already busy job. So we realized that we need to make sure that we show appreciation, because if you don't, the second time around you come with an idea, people are going to be like, no, last time it almost killed me. I'm not gonna. So how can you make sure that people still feel like excited about it? And obviously it's about making them feel part of the success. If
Yeah.
what you're doing is successful, but it's also to show appreciation along the way.
Hey, if you enjoy that clip, you're going to love the full episode of Winning Friends. Check it out in the link below.